Hey guys, this is DGecko Gaming back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to play the Pokémon TCG, or trading card game, as it's, better known. First, I'm going to be showing you guys a deck, and keep in mind, I'll do a deck making tutorial later. This is just going to be kind of a beginner's guide. And through showing you the deck, I'm going to show you all the basics, the cards, the energies, the attacks, the playing, and how to actually win. Then the second half of this video is going to be me actually playing a match, which is probably going to take a while, so it'll probably be sped up. But yeah, just to make that as short as possible, let's get right into it. Our first topic is going to be energies. They are the energy of this whole game. Every trading card game has an energy of some sort, but this one's energy is literally just called energy. There's an energy for each type, which there's less than normal Pokemon types, but there is still, a decent amount of energy. And each Pokemon requires, as you can see, different energy. For instance, to use a move, this Hydreigon EX needs a dark energy and a colorless energy. Colorless energies, fun fact, are any energy, can represent a colorless energy. These are always colorless, but they have additional effects. These can represent a colored energy at, any point. So if you just put 2 dark energy on that Hydreigon EX, you could play this Crashing Headbutt. But that gets me perfectly into the next topic, or not quite yet, actually. Energies, you can only play 1 per turn. You have to actively draw them, and you can only place 1 on your Pokemon per turn. That will include these, and, any energy. The next thing that's very important is trainers. Trainers are helpful cards that do additional things. You can only play, so you can play as many item trainer cards. As you can see, it says it at the top. You can see as many item trainer card. You can play as many item trainer cards as you want in any given turn, but you can only play 1 supporter trainer card and only 1 stadium card. Stadium cards you play and it doesn't affect for the whole game. Like for instance, this one lets anybody on the field, including your enemy, draw 1 Pokemon per turn. This one, anyone who has a Terra Pokemon, which can be you or the opponent, can have a bigger bench, which I will talk about benches later. Quick, you can only have 1 Pokemon in play, and your bench generally is maxed at 5. But this stadium would allow you to have more Pokemon on that bench. Then there's also Pokemon tools. Again, you can play as many as you want, but you can only put 1 on each Pokemon. And these tools just add something to the Pokemon. For instance, this one, when the Pokemon is poisoned, it does more damage. Or this TM will allow it to use the move Evolution, but only the turn after it's played. So TM ones will go away, and then you can put a different TM on them if you want. These will stay on until the Pokemon is knocked out. But yeah, these are just generally useful item cards. They are very useful, very broad. Some of them make you discard cards, some of them have very good effects, but really, they're just depend on your strategy. Now, the main part of your deck is, of course, going to be the Pokemon. The Pokemon have no actual play cost. To play them, you don't gotta play anything. But for them to be able to use moves, they have to have energy. And also, you cannot play a Pokemon that says Stage 2. It has to evolve. So, you have to play a Pokemon first that says Basic on the top. That means it is the basic Pokemon, and you can play it because it isn't evolved. But then, a turn after you play that basic Pokemon, excluding some circumstances, once you finally do that, after you wait a turn, you can then evolve it to the next stage and the next stage. And that's, the point right, here. That you play Dino, then you pull a Zweilous, a couple turns later, you evolve it, and the next turn you evolve it into Hydreigon EX. And each turn you've been allowed to put energy on it. Energy which stays when it evolves, so you've, started it with a dark energy, then you put a steel energy on, and then now you put a psychic energy. But still, you can't use the move Obsidian yet, because you're 1 colorless energy short, or 1 of any energy short. But that's where other Pokemon come in. You don't just need strong Pokemon, you need good supports. So, we have Chansey, which you'd play the basic, and then you'd evolve it to Blissey EX. This brings me into abilities. Abilities are things that can be active or passive. A passive ability would be that, it takes 30 less damage from steel moves. Or when it's knocked out, it burns the opponent. And an active one is one that you can choose to use, whether it's in play or out of play. Blissey EX's ability allows you to move 1 energy while a Pokemon, like as long as a Pokemon's in play, including on the bench, you can move an energy to a different Pokemon. While you were waiting for that Zweilous, maybe you put another Psychic energy on a Chansey or a Varoom you were playing. Now you can use Blissey's Happy Switch to move it to Hydreigon, and now you've attached 2 energy in a turn. Technically, you didn't attach another energy, you still only attached 1 energy, but you got to move around an energy, which is very useful if you have turns that you're wasting. But all that to say that... Oh, actually, do have one more thing. Ace Specs. Ace Specs are these cards. They say Ace Spec on the side. They have a very nice gleam to them. And there's Ace Specs of every kind. There's Ace Specs of actual, like, trainer cards. There's Ace Specs in the energy. And there isn't technically Ace Specs in Pokemon, but there is Pokemon that work the same as an Ace Spec. They're called Radiant Pokemon. I don't know if I have any in this thing on me. But they're not the main focal point, because they're, out of the meta. You can't use them anymore in legal decks. Which is sad, but they're fine. Actually, I think you still can use them in legal decks, but they're hard to fit into a legal deck now. But, yes, Ace Specs are really useful cards that you can only have 1 of in your deck. No matter what kind, you can't have 1 energy, 1 trainer, 1, no, you can only have 1. But they're really useful. This one, for instance, will give 2 of any kind of energy to the Pokemon you attach it in 1 turn. So all you gotta do is attach it, and this Hydreigon now has 2 of any energy. Let's say you have 2 Steels on it. You attach that energy, and now it has the Dark and the Psychic. Or you have the Psychic and the Steel, and so you attach that energy, it has the Colorless and the Dark. It's very useful, but the downside is you only have 1, and you have to obviously draw it. Let's look at other... Oh, this is a pack customization. I'm not doing that for this thing, but... I might do it when I actually make my own deck, which I'm planning to do because I'm going to tournaments soon. I'm very excited. But this Ace Spec allows you to pick as many energy of different types as you want. And, you could just add 1 of each energy, and then you can take all of them into your deck at once. It's a very important card for a Goldengo EX deck where you want to discard energy. And I know you guys don't know what that means, but... they're very useful cards and very important in any good deck. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for right now. Now we're going into the actual gameplay, not just the basics of cards, but actual gameplay. So we're gonna load up a match. Like I said, this is gonna be the second half of the video while I talk about win conditions. In order to win a match of Pokemon TCG, one must do one of 2 things. You must take all your prize cards, or knock out all of their Pokemon so that their active spot and bench is empty. The first most easy one to understand is the knock out all Pokemon. I would not like to go first because of my strategy, but that's not important right now. Each match will start with a coin flip to decide who goes first. You can do everything on a first turn, except you can't attack on a first turn. Which, obviously, you want to be able to attack, so I tend to go second. Also, if you don't draw any basic Pokemon, you redraw. That's what I just had to do. But yeah, so to win, you either have to draw these 6 prize cards, which you get every time you defeat an enemy's Pokemon, you get 1 prize card. Unless they're a more powerful Pokemon, in which... Here, instead of a description of the Pokemon, it will state you can take 2 prize cards. It's the EX rule, or the GX rule, or the Tag Team rule. Like this one, perfect. Walking Wake EX, right here. Pokemon EX rule. You take 2 prize cards when it is defeated. Oh, and look, he's playing an Ace Spec. Secret Box. Search your deck for an item card, a 2-card, a supporter card, a stadium card. So he gets to pick 1 of each card and just draw them for free. That's a very good Ace Spec. And it probably works very well with the deck he's using. I don't know what deck he's using yet. That's a part of the thing that you don't know what your enemy's going to use. But yes, so it's as simple as, the first win condition is, let's say I kill this Pecharunt somehow, and then I defeat that Walking Wake somehow, and he doesn't have another card, I win. That's always harder to do because people can always just add more cards. But the more reliable way and intended way to win is to slowly take out a couple Pokemon and eventually draw all your prize cards and win. So yeah, that's, how you win. He's, using, this guy clearly got a good grasp on what he's doing. He's actually just almost ended it turn 1, which is why you generally want to go second, because you can't get ended turn 1 because they can't attack. But he conceded, so I get the win. That doesn't really happen very often, but when it does, that's actually very nice. And he gave me time to explain stuff and didn't take too much time. Those matches can take a very long time. Each player gets a 20-minute counter. Oh, and I just went up in the ranks because of it. Yeah, there's a ranking system where you get rewards. Like I got Ens Sigilif, Ens Darumaka, and Ens Purloin for hitting this tier. There's a tier below it. There's Friend Ball tier. And then there's Quick Ball, and I haven't been grinding much in the April ladder. I got to Master last ladder, but I didn't want to grind that much. I've just been grinding for the actual Battle Pass, which there's a bunch of packs that I have to open, but that will be for a different video. Also, I've done some of the quests to get more packs, which is very nice. But yeah, that is how you play the trading card game. And then, of course, the online one is where there's the features that I just showed you, the Battle Passes and the getting free packs and the tier and the ladder. But, like, everything I explained works in the real world too. It's just harder to kind of put together, but I'm going to be trying to do it. As you guys have seen in my card videos, go watch my card videos, go like, go subscribe. So that I can keep this up and then I can, win that tournament next week. I think it's 2 weeks away, actually. But yeah, I explained it, and that's about it for this video. I hope you guys learned something, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and ring that bell, because I'm posting a lot more now. But anyway, whether you come from the short or just click through, I appreciate your video, or I appreciate you watching this video, and bye.